What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the CFL podcast, where today we're going to be talking about Southern versus JSU, game of the week. This is going to be a big game. This is going to be a physical game. Well, the last couple of games are big games, really, but this is a big game. It's going to be a physical game. This is going to be a war in the trenches, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into all that. All right. First, let me say this. I don't ask for donations for the channel, but people do inquire about it to me personally. So I would just continue to tell y'all, if you want to donate to the channel, you can do it through Cash App. I'll put the picture up the way you can do so. Anything you give is greatly appreciated. If you don't give, please understand that you help me. You support me a lot already just by clicking on my video, commenting, liking, and subscribing. So thank y'all. Thank you to all y'all. And let me say this. Warren Newman is back. Warren Newman is back, the fan favorite, the most underrated piece of this offense. He's back, bro, and it could not have come at a better time, okay? First of all, shout out to Timona. Thank you so much for sending me the picture of Warren Newman and keeping me updated on him. She's where I got the video and the picture of Warren Newman, which I'm about to show y'all. As you can see in this video, Warren Newman, he was exercising with his trainer, working out, getting right, and he looks good. I think that was CJ that he was working by, CJ Holmes. They were both working out, and they look good. And there was also a picture of Warren Newman receiving a carry from the quarterback as well. So he's good. Looks like he's probably going to be using more different ways, getting more creative with him. But he's looking good. He's going to be on the field for Southern, and it could not have come at a better time. We needed Warren Newman back on that field. All right. So let's get into the matchup. I have really four main things for me. Y'all can let me know down in the comments what you think, right? But four things for me that JSU really needs to do to make sure that they win this game. And number one, win the trench war. And to me, that's the most important one, right? But win the trench war, that's number one. Number two, do not over pursue. And that's critical to this game. Don't over pursue. Number three, tackle properly. Also critical in any game, really, but especially this one. Tackle properly. And number four, the offense just needs to have a really good day. The passing attack needs to keep up their momentum that they got going. And, the running game doesn't have to be, we would love it to be what they were versus Texas Southern. But, if they could just be at least decent, Jackson State will be fine. So I'm going to break all four of these down and everything like that. And, we just going to get into it. So, let me say this, right? When discussing the first point of winning the trench war, I say this because Southern's offensive line is very impressive. Without a doubt, they are impressive. The best in the SWAC. And to me, there's no comparison. Y'all might go somewhere different, but to me, I'm with Southern. Not just because four of the five guys on that starting offensive line were named first team preseason all SWAC, but because when I watched them versus FAMU last week, those guys moved as a well-oiled machine. I'm talking about they got pushed on the ball anytime they wanted, with the exception of a few times that FAMU was able to get a stop in the backfield. But for the most part, they were winning their matchups. They were getting yards, okay? And that's a big reason as to why Southern's rushing offense is number one in the SWAC. I mean, they average 4.9 yards a carry. That is almost 5 yards a carry. And that happens for a reason. This offensive line is great. And we're not even talking about the pass blocking yet, right? We just know their strength is run blocking. But I'm going to get to that later. They have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. Why I think this is such a big matchup, because JSU's front seven is the best in the SWAC. They're nasty. They're dogs, okay? And even though, the only reason why they gave up so much yards to Texas Southern, running wise, to that running back, who is a very talented running back, is because it was a triple option. They didn't really even, nobody had an assignment in the first half. So of course, nobody was getting the pitch, man. It just wasn't assignment football. So somebody was gonna get free until they came back and make adjustments to make sure everyone's accounted for. So that's a big reason why. But as far as just straight up running downhill, like getting a handoff and running downhill, the only running back I've seen so far to really go ham on JSU's front seven or at least match their strength, was probably that running back from Delta State early on in the season. Since then, I haven't really seen much success, probably with the exception of one other back, but that he's the only guy who I've seen have much success just taking handoffs. So, like I said, Southern's offensive line allows their running back to average 5 yards a carry. That's basically 5 yards a carry. They move like a well-oiled machine. That offensive line is something you do not want to take for granted. So, Coinus Miller, Antoine Owens, Katron Evans, Aubrey, James, Niles, Keontae, they gonna have to really show out. They're gonna have to really show out, and they will do so because that is a nasty group. That is a nasty front seven group, right? So the battle is gonna take place there, and they have to make sure that they're consistently winning these battles because Southern is gonna get theirs. Southern is gonna get theirs at some point, but you have to make sure that you're like, even if you lose the battle, that you're winning the war outright. They're going to win some battles, but you have to win the war as a front seven. And I'm saying this because when you look at the rushing stats for this season, right, offensively, Southern is number one, as I said earlier, with 1,830 rushing yards on the season. The next closest team to that is Prairie View with 1,460. That is a 370-yard difference. The next closest team is 370 yards behind Southern. Their strength is running. They are not a threat to you passing the ball. Their strength is running. All right, they average 5 yards a carry, and they get about 203 yards per game. All right, so JSU, looking at them, they have the second best, statistically, technically the second best run defense in the SWAC. Only reason is because FAMU's defense has allowed about 8 yards less than Jackson State, which is what bumped them down to second. But still, the second best run defense in the SWAC, they only allow 2.9 yards per carry, 102 yards per game, and only 6 touchdowns allowed on the season. This is going to be a battle. It might not be an exciting one like you want, right? Because we know Southern likes to run the ball. JSU's defense is stingy, the stingiest you've ever seen it. So it might not be the battle that you want, but this is going to be a battle in the trenches. It's not going to be the most exciting one for most people because they want to see fireworks, but a battle is going to take place in them trenches. Now, number 2, when I watched them, they couldn't throw it deep on FAMU. This is how I know they aren't a threat passing wise, right? It was inside zone, maybe a little misdirection. They'll send the receiver in motion, and then they'll hand the ball off in a different direction, a little misdirection action, and then they'll do play action, right? And it's just a constant cycle of those. Inside handoff, counter, misdirection, play action. Nothing like they barely attempted anything over an intermediate amount of yards. All Jackson State has to do as a defense is keep everything under them. This is what I mean when I say don't over pursue, right? Because during the play actions, so many times FAMU had an opportunity to get a sack or just disrupt the play in any way. And you know what they did? They over-pursued sometimes. So all McDaniels had to do was step up in the pocket, which he did, and deliver a pass, like a little dump off to the running back. He was able to make get the amount of yards that he did because people were missing tackles and everything like that, which is why I say, just don't over-pursue. If they don't over-pursue, I don't see how this is going to work out for Southern. It's not going to work out for Southern. Trust me when I say that. Everything. Because one thing we know about Jackson State is that they swarm to the football. So if you ain't trying to open up the field against them and you trying to go power on power, I get it. You got the biggest chance than anybody else because of your offensive line, but that is about all the hope you have. Okay? So you better hope that your offensive line can step up. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night for you. Now, as I was talking about, Glenn McDaniel, he's no threat passing wise, okay? He is second to last in passing. Second to last in passing. He has a 9-2 touchdown to interception ratio. That's good and all, but it's only 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's not a threat. Not a threat. So take care of Southern in the run game, you win the game. Win the trenches, you win the game. It's just that simple. All right. They're only gonna do what? Delayed run, like a delayed running back route. I've seen a few times where they'll snap the ball, it's a pass play. They'll send 4 receivers out, right? But McDaniel is not looking to pass that far. He's gonna wait till everybody gets downfield. That running back is gonna slip out on a delay. He's gonna dump it out to the running back. The running back is gonna get what he can get. That's just them as an offense. Okay, what JSU needs to do to counter that? Tackle properly. A lot of their yards can and will come, okay, from broken tackles. JSU has a history of just arm tackling or not properly tackling, going for the big hit all the time. Make sure they just got to make sure they don't do that this game. This ain't the time for that. So they do that, they'll be fine. I'm pretty sure Coach Thurman has been preaching that in meetings and everything as well. I'm pretty sure they know what the deal is by now, right? So don't over pursue, tackle properly. They got to win the trench war. And as for the offense just got to have a good day. All they have to do offensively, Shador's going to be him. Shador is going to be him. Even in a not so good performance in the first half last week, he still made incredible plays in the second half and wielded his team to victory because that kid is just great. Doesn't even play like a freshman. This we know already, right? But all the offense has to do, right? Continue the momentum that you had from the past couple of weeks passing wise. Let me say this about the run game. I don't expect you to have the performance that you had versus Texas Southern. The reason why I say that, Texas Southern was the worst run defense statistically in the SWAC last week. I don't even think that's changed. So, it's a good thing that y'all got it going versus them. But all I expect from y'all, right? Because I know for a fact we're not going to see a 100-yard game from Pickett and J.D. Martin again. That's just not going to happen. Not versus Southern. I don't think so. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to say I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. So what they need to do, at least give me 85. At least give me, matter of fact, at least average about 4 yards a carry. If they can do that, just keep the run game enough of a threat to keep the defense honest, then you're fine. You're fine, right? But as for the passing game, when I looked at Southern's secondary, quite a few times last week did Rashawn McKay look like an all-world quarterback. And the reason why I'm saying this is because so many times did Southern secondary break down. Like they just had a breakdown in coverage many, many times, which allowed big plays for FAMU and for Rashawn McKay to look like a world beater, okay? So if Rashawn McKay can look that good versus Southern's defense, secondary, what you think Shador gonna do? Oh my goodness. Listen, we already know we had Corbin and we had Weidman on the outside. Now Hooks is back. That's a three. That's a three. That's a trio of guys, right? That's a trio of guys. Big guys who you got to throw the ball up against. You still got Newman. I mean, yeah, you got Newman back. Newman's back to work that middle now. In the past couple of weeks when Newman was out, they were not working that middle at all. They've tried to put people in Newman's place, but they couldn't get that middle working because Warren Newman is the only one who can really do that on this team. And now we've seen how much he's missed in that offense. He's back. So now Shador can work that middle as well as the outside. Somebody with Hooks, with Corbin, Weidman, Lanier, and Newman, somebody is going to have a day. Understand that. Plenty of breakdowns is going to happen with Southern. They ain't going to fix that in a week. I have no confidence in them fixing that in a week. Somebody is going to have a day. You ain't going to stop all of them. All y'all got to do is maintain the momentum that y'all been maintaining the past few weeks, and you will be fine. And that's about it. Rashawn McKay was 15 for 26, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I know Shedeur can beat that. I know that. We know how Shedeur plays. So listen, that's all they have to do. That's it. That's it. That's all they have to do. And let me say this, right? FAMU won that game, and they were 3 for 12 on third down. Southern was 8 for 17 on third down, and they still lost. Southern cannot pass the ball. They run effectively, but at some point you are going to need to pass the ball in order to win you games, and that's why their record is the way it is. They can't pass the ball, and it's not going to happen on Jackson State either. Jackson State wins it. I don't know the score I'll give it, but I'm going with JSU. That's all they have to do. These 4 things is all they have to do. It's real simple, and you win this game. No need to overcomplicate it. It just is what it is. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video and the CFL podcast. I go by the name of Kobe. I really appreciate y'all supporting my channel. Peace.